If you're contemplating whether or not to start learning Bharathanatyam, or you're already learning Bharathanatyam and you're curious to know what you should have known, this is the video for you because I'm going to tell you 5 things you should know before you start learning Bharathanatyam. I'm going to get this one straight out of the way because I think it's the most important one, and that is that learning Bharathanatyam doesn't come with a set time frame. It's not like school when you progress from grade to grade, but rather 1, there is no end, and 2, progress does not tend to be linear. It can be a bit of a roller coaster, it can be exponential. It really just depends on 2 things. 1, the student's level of interest. 2, the student's level of interest. Because no matter how amazing a teacher is, unless the student wants to learn, you can't make someone learn. Similarly, a guru or teacher tends to be fueled by the energy of the student. So the more interest the student shows, the more energy or the more interest the teacher takes in teaching that student, thereby growth, வேற level.
வேற லெவலுங்க, நீங்க வேற level.
Now that I've said that growth is kind of having said that, Bharathanatyam does come with a set structure in terms of how it's taught thanks to the Tanjore quartet. Everyone begins by learning these basic steps called adavas. It can be as simple as, just stamping your feet in Tattadavu and then adding in hand gestures in Nattadavu and then start moving around using the space in Paravaladavu. Like that, there is a basic grammar in which Bharathanatyam is taught. Then students begin to learn actual compositions like Alaripu, Jadiswaram, Sabdam when they start doing expressions and so on. So there is some level of structure. I have heard people wanting to learn Bharathanatyam dance routines. It's quite hard to do that because it's kind of like wanting to speak a language when you don't know the basic grammar and rules of it. A so-called dance routine is actually made up of these adavas. All it is when we learn compositions is just putting these adavas together into interesting patterns, different ways. So once you know that basic grammar through learning adavas, doing compositions is much more easier. Point number 3. Like learning Bharathanatyam does not have a set time frame, there is also no age frame. You can start learning Bharathanatyam whenever you want. I have seen many experiences of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s learning Bharathanatyam and then going on to do their Arangetram. So it really depends on your level of interest, and if you're waiting on a sign to tell you to start learning Bharathanatyam, this is it. I am your sign. Go begin your Bharathanatyam journey. When you join dance classes, you meet people with shared interests, and then you meet them in other events, and then you start mingling and speaking with them, and all of a sudden you find yourself in this small little community with shared interests, shared values. And I'm sure you can ask any dancer that one of the reasons why they would enjoy their dance classes is because they get to spend time with their dance friends before, during and after class. And as COVID has taught us this year, human interaction is quite nice, occasionally. Ladies and not ladies, we come to our last point, and that is that learning Bharathanatyam is not just learning a dance form. It is way beyond that. When you learn one composition, you learn poetry, and through that poetry you learn something about the history, the origin, the religion, philosophy, whatever it may be. And when you're actually doing these compositions, you get an idea of how Carnatic music compositions tend to be structured, what ragas are used, what talas are used. And you learn to speak a whole new form of communication. You also learn to take care of your body, and in the chances that you get to perform on stage, you learn to overcome your fears, making you a little bit stronger and a tiny bit wiser. I hope that didn't sound like an advert for Bharathanatyam. Anyway, that is the end. I hope you find this useful, and if you are going to start learning Bharathanatyam, good luck. Enjoy the journey because there is no destination.